maintaining the very high metabolism rate they have. Mammal, their names are called, they raise a paw, the bat, the cat, dolphin and dog, koala bear and hog.
All right, good afternoon again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Atheist Experience. It's April 9th, 2006. We are live. We've got, is it Anthony?
Yes.
How you doing?
Okay, how's it going? I have a question for you. You said that you was on your way to seminary and you started finding information out that discouraged you or changed your mind about Christ. Now, what document did you study? Atheism?
Atheism isn't a document.
No, I'm saying that that's the doctrine of atheists that you study.
No, there's no doctrine to atheism.
Well, you have a certain belief, right? Atheists have a certain belief, right?
Well, atheism is a lack of, it's essentially a singular answer to a singular question. Theism is the belief in a God or gods, and atheism is a lack of belief in a God or gods.
Right, so basically you study something to realize that you believe nothing, basically.
No, not that I believe nothing. I believe in a great deal of things. I mean, you know, I'm not. I know you're trying to get to a point.
Yeah, I'm going to try to help. I think he's just simply asking, what did you find on the way through your study that made you sort of change your mind about your faith in God? Is that correct? Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there was a great many things. I started because I wanted to be able to answer difficult questions that come up, and there's a brand of Christian philosophy called apologetics, where they're explaining, you know, biblical answers and also origins. And I had begun to have, you know, some doubts as to the reliability thing, and wanted to shore that up. And one of the things that started was my uncle had given me a book, Evidence That Demands a Verdict by Josh McDowell.
Right.
Which is, if you're a believing Christian or a mostly believing Christians, that's a great book to really shore up your belief. It's only when you start going in to try and evaluate the evidence that Josh presents and the arguments that he makes, with regard to reality, and actually consider them further, that you start to find that they break down. That was part of the process. There's also a lot of philosophical and scientific investigation about the nature of God. How do we define what we know?
Right.
You know, what reason is there? And it kind of got to the point where, after considering, you know, so many things, and it's, by the way, it's an investigation, you know, it's a research project that I never stop. I still, you know, study as much as I can about it, as many things I get my hands on.
I know. I understand what you're saying, but my thing is, you said you was a Christian. See, here's the thing. When I became a Christian, I knew nothing about Christianity. I was just like anybody else, wanted to live my life in a way that wasn't pleasing to God as well. It's only when you get that new birth. See, I think where atheists are missing the point is that they think that people take information.
What happened?
They think that people take information from other Christians, and that's how they, I guess, maybe strengthen their faith. But I had an experience. That's something that happened to me, and I know you have other callers. I won't bore you with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
But what happens a lot of time, I think that what happens is the reason why a lot of people turn to atheism and other religions, because they're not satisfied. They see someone who confessed to be a Christian, and then they see that these people are doing certain things, so they assume that all Christians are this way or believe this way or that way. Now, I want to know, how many Christians do you people actually really know? I'm not talking about somebody that goes to church or somebody that's trying to do good. I'm talking about truly born-again Christian. How many of them do you actually know?
Well, if you're not going to use the criteria of they go to church and try to be a good person, how would I give me a definition then of what's a Christian?
Okay, a Christian. Think about it. Okay, a Christian. See, you would be a fool to place your trust in a Christianity. See what I'm saying? You'd be a fool to place your trust in Christianity. See, Christ. See, when Christ came and died, he died for all mankind. He didn't just. Christ never said trust in Christianity. He said he's the way, the truth, and the life. Now, what fault have you ever found in Jesus Christ? See, that's what you have to tear down.
Are you asking what faults have I found in
Jesus Christ? Yes.
Okay. First of all, we don't know for sure that he lived, and there's significant debate about whether or not he was actually.
So you don't believe Jewish history then? Josephus, who wasn't a Christian, mentioned him.
the Josephus passage, the Testimonium Flavius, is at best partially a late 4th century interpolation.
Right. But what I'm saying that you got people who weren't followers of Christ mentioning him.
Not a single 1st century historian corroborates the story. But that's right. That's irrelevant.
No, that's very relevant because
it's irrelevant to me answering your question. So let me get to what I was saying real quick. There is a question as to the historicity, but even if you assume that this person existed, I don't find the Bible to be an accurate representation of what could have happened. And also, just looking at, let's say, the words that are attributed to Jesus in the New Testament really are his. Really are his words. Those are things he said. I find them, for example, going through the Sermon on the Mount, to be a collection of really bad advice. Take no thought for tomorrow. You know, trust God to provide everything. That's really bad life advice in general.
Right.
You know, why do you have a savings account? Why do you have a 401k and a retirement plan?
Right, but see, if you look at it in that narrow term, okay, let me give you an example. You work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I tell you, okay, look, we're going to do such and such tomorrow, but don't worry about money or whatever. But that's not saying don't disregard money. You see, in that context, you're taking a narrow view that don't worry about anything, just sit and wait and God going to do it. That's not what he's saying.
That is what the Bible says. And in actuality, when somebody specifically comes up to Jesus and asks him, you know, good master, what must I do to be saved? And of course, Jesus right off the bat says, why are you calling me good?
Right.
But then his reply is, keep the commandments. So there's nothing about believe in me, you know, be born again, be baptized, nothing. It's keep the commandments. And the guy specifically asked which one, and Jesus answers with regard to, you know, don't kill, don't steal, and honor thy father and mother.
Right.
And he says, these things I've done all my life. And then Jesus says, the only thing you're missing is to go sell all your stuff and follow me.
You know why he said that, though?
Yeah.
See, this is what happened when people that are not Christians trying to interpret the Bible. What he was saying this is what he was saying. He knew that rich man, his life was about money. That's what his life was about. And he knew that he could never have a true relationship with him unless he done that. It wasn't so much as him go sell. It wasn't so much as go sell everything, because there was a lot of people gave money, like the first, they gave money, but they wasn't followers.
I understand the parable that you're talking about.
And so what happens is, it wasn't so much as go sell all your money, but the guy, if you go back and you read earlier, see what happens. The guy, he was a rich man. You know, rich people don't like to part with their money. And so what he was saying was, in order for you to have a relationship with me, you're gonna have to do that. Sell it.
I understand that you can have an interpretation. I understand that you can have an interpretation which reduces that to metaphor. The point of that was that generally among Christians and among the doctrines of the religion, the way to salvation is based only on belief
in Christ, right?
But that's not the answer that Jesus gave in the Bible as to the way to salvation. And also in the book of James, James questions the doctrine of faith alone.
Right.
What, you know, can faith alone get me to heaven without works? And the point of all of that is that there are contradictions there, and not just contradictions as to whether or not a bat is a bird or not.
Right. But
there are real doctrinal contradictions.
No, it's not faith. No, it's not a contradiction. See, if you are a child of God, and you are a Christian, you're going to do work. You're going to do what Christ says.
You're coming with an ad hoc excuse saying that the real path is faith, and that if you're really faithful, your good works will show the faith. But that's not the complete nature of what's discussed in there.